Live. Excellent. Thanks everyone so far that showed up. Looks like we're only at about 6 currently in the queue. So maybe we'll just give it a moment or two until we get... And looks like we're back.
Hi.
So, thank you again for your patience. Just a small technical difficulty with one of our typical components. Backup's now engaged, so it looks like we're good to go. Perhaps we'll just skip the intro again, because I think you folks are just now wanting to get into the whiskey. It's 10 after 7, so I'm thirsty. It's hot out.
Yeah, agreed.
Let us begin.
I think I would have had all the patience though because of the first dram that we're having from a distillery I don't think most of us have tried anything from since it's been mothballed since 2002, I want to say.
Well, hasn't it been demolished? Like it's like just
right.
razed to the ground.
I think that's what I heard as well. Just done.
Okay. Well, let's...
And was known as the Glen Grant too at one point.
See, that's why you're here, because I don't know anything like this. Zara will regale you with facts while I just sit here and swirl whiskey.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how many facts come out after maybe the third dram here. So super excited about this. So this is 25 years old. Something a little bit interesting about this whiskey, which you'll see in the notes, is that it's not from a single cask. Essentially, there were a few casks that were put together and then eventually married in an ex-bourbon, I want to say.
Yes.
For 2 years, and that's how the SMWS was able to get a hold of some of this whiskey from this mothball destroyed distillery, which is pretty special. I think I understand just wanting to take what you can from batches, because I would have no idea how many barrels would be left or available or what they're doing with that in terms of blending.
Probably very few, I would guess.
Absolutely.
I don't know what kind of supplies left over after it's been demolished for so many years.
Yeah, I was really excited about this one, just knowing that it's 25 years old, so that's hard to know what the age is totally, right? Because it's going to be the mix of the casks.
Yep.
So at minimum 25 years.
There's probably some older stuff,
yeah,
I would imagine.
And known to be fruity and nutty from that distillery. So we'll see if you get any fruit or nut. Definitely lots of fruit on the nose.
Tons of fruit. So we're just being told the sound is horrible. Okay, we'll work on it, guys. Thank you. I'm getting banana. So banana and like some apple.
I definitely had some tropical notes too. I got pineapple and definitely getting that apple, like a bright green apple, which I'm speaking with Dr. Don Livermore at one of the whiskey festivals that I last attended to, and he told me that's one of the hardest notes to present in whiskey and create. Apple.
Green apple?
Yeah.
Like bright apple? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Because I often smell it so much. Mm-hmm. So maybe they've got some kind of apple alchemy.
Yeah, it's the goal note.
Yeah, tropical, bright, vanilla for sure, probably from all the bourbon maturation.
So if you do end up buying this bottle, it is recommended that you pull up a short story called The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. I proposed reading it, but I think it might take a little long for us to just focus on that poetry, but if anyone's interested in a little poetry club, hit me up. We can chat, drink whiskey.
Blooper reel.
We'll do that later.
Okay, I'm going to taste this.
Okay.
I've been waiting. I poured these 2 weeks ago.
We've been waiting so long. So one of 249 bottles, ABV at 53.2. Is it possible that a whiskey is thick and thin at the same time? It felt like
I get what you mean. Yeah, it's really robust and dense up front, but as it goes down the back of my throat anyway, it really thins out.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
No.
I'm not saying thin in a bad way, but it's cool because it's dynamic.
It does.
Inside your face.
Yeah, there's like, captures a youthfulness at the end of it, yet knowing we've got something old and dignified. Mm-hmm. Very special.
A bit of a soapy note as well, but like a fresh soap, like an Irish Spring with delicious palm olive.
delicious palm.
I don't know if palm olive's delicious.
Yeah, it's the one I have right now. Of course, I get a classic bit of vanilla in this. We talk about cask types. I had mentioned that it was a marriage of hogsheads and then put into the ex-bourbon barrel, if I read that correctly.
You did. Yeah, they're just all married together, just for a few years. They weren't really specific on how long it stayed in that last barrel, but I think it's really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I quite like it.
Has anyone had anything from the Capardonic before? Curious. Also, if you have a bottle, I'm curious about that. Exactly. I'm thinking if Daniel's on here, calling you out.
Oh, who, sorry?
Daniel. Dan. He's one of the SMWS members.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Daniel. Yes. I doubt he's watching. I haven't seen him in a while, actually.
Yeah, I think I saw on his Instagram that he was about to taste a whiskey that he was aging in a larger barrel. I saw that, if he's watching. So I'm curious what he's devised.
Like he's gotten a hold of some whiskey and aging it in a barrel of his own?
Correct.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It is cool. And I think I saw that he was able to measure the ABV. A lot of people get barrels of their own and they'll put in different whiskeys or new makes. But I was always curious how you'd measure that, the ABV. I guess that's an instrument that you get.
Yeah, so Daniel, if you are watching, please think of us, because I would love to try that.
Mm-hmm. This is one I'd want to side-by-side with Glen Grant. As well, I did a Glen Grant tasting a little while ago, and I was obsessed with the 18. But I wonder if there would be similar characteristics, just given that the distillery is right beside what used to be Capardonic.
I've never had Glen Grant.
Really?
Never. Nope.
Well, maybe that's something we can try after.
Yes. Think of me.
When I'm reading poetry. Thank you.
So Greg's just saying that he has a Capardonic, but he's not opened it. Probably for good reason. I imagine it's quite the collector's item.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked about this one here. Gorgeous bottle.
I'm going to try some water. See what happens.
I will join you on that.
2 drops should do it.
I'm just like so interested at the legs on this glass too. I'm the type of person who has to remember to add drops of whiskey because I just love holding cask strength whiskey in my mouth and seeing what happens.
Yes. I just keep it on my teeth and gums and toothbrush.
Toothbrush. Absolutely.
So it's a little less... Actually, it smells more sweet to me.
I was just going to say I'm getting more the caramels and vanilla sweetness.
But there's like a... What's the best way I can describe that? It's almost like a stale air note. If that makes any sense.
Like our homes right now?
Yes, our disgusting, muggy homes.
We were just saying neither of us have air conditioning. It's been super hot here. So do you prefer the hot, fresh air or the stale house air?
Dank air.
So, well, here we go. This is a little... I wonder if that captures the age.
Maybe. It's just like... Maybe that could be also like a barrel note of some kind that I was not familiar with.
Well, there's a few barrels, so that'd be interesting to know exactly. I got, with the water, some light floral tones on the palate.
Yeah, it's still really pleasant. For me, when I put water in most whiskey, it tends to make it less appealing. But now it's done one thing which I really like, and now it's doing other things which I really like.
Worth a revisit, possibly. Maybe we should save some.
I might just take the heel home. I don't know. No, we'll definitely revisit it, because that's one I think you have to touch base on again. Yes. As you proceed forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we have any thoughts on this one here? People like it?
So we've got 12 watching now, so that's much better than when we started. I thought folks were going to leave us after that technical snafu.
Yes.
But thanks for sticking it out.
We appreciate it.
Greg Perlinsky is just saying that his Capardonic is a 1982 Gordon and MacPhail independent bottling. Again, Greg, just come visit us and we'll...
Maybe we'll visit you.
Or maybe we'll visit you. If you have air conditioning, we'll visit.
Yeah, exactly. Unless your home is like dank, we're okay with it. Apparently, that's a note that we like.
Yes. All right, that's good. It's a great way to start.
Yeah, and then I had a question before I got here, and that's if these bottles are still available, because it looked like on site I was misreading it, perhaps saying that they were not available, but you said that they're all for sale after?
Yes, so nothing's been sold yet. As we typically do, we'll open up sales as soon as the tasting is over. So the website will be revealed, and anything that kind of tickles your fancy, you guys can go ahead and purchase online or send me an email, and I'll just fill them in as they come.
Beautiful.
Standard operating procedure.
Well, that was such a treat to start with.
Delicious. Yeah, quite the banger to begin with. Hope it maintains that level as we go through.
Literally an abundance of hidden delights.
Indeed. So this is the Super Trooper. Not as fragrant. I can hear myself talking.
You can. Yeah, a little subdued on the nose, but sweet, tropical a bit.
Kind of like a sweet dessert note.
Yeah.
Like some kind of like sweet bread, like pudding dessert.
Pudding dessert. I was thinking of
thing.
like creme brulee or something that had like a milky base with caramel.
Some chocolate notes. Hard candy for sure.
That's actually one of the first, because when I nosed it right before we started, that's actually a note that I had a hard candy.
But I guess it'd be kind of the way a hard candy tastes. Because I don't know if you can smell a hard candy. Like I've never smelled a gobstopper.
Gobstoppers are hard, but if you like peel open a pack of Lifesavers, you sometimes get that
makes
hard
sense.
candy.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Jolly Rancher, depending on where you're at.
Hard candy aficionado.
I used to know all the flavors of candies, all the chocolates, whatever was in the 7-Eleven. It's like how I'm with whiskey now. You know, I can point it out, but it was my obsession started with candy.
Nice.
And I tend to get that white Lifesaver, not the yellow, but that one quite a bit on some of the hard candy whiskeys.
What does a white Lifesaver taste like?
I think it's supposed to be pineapple, but it's not like an overt pineapple. It's kind of just soft and waxy.
Okay.
A lot of Clynelish whiskeys that I drink, I often get that note. So when people talk about, waxy, I think that candy even has a bit of a texture because it's not exactly clear either.
Right. Now I have to try white Lifesavers because I'm curious. So just a couple of folks here are saying this is big on the pineapple. Yeah, that marries in with that tropical.
And the follow through on the palate, I'm now getting that pineapple and interesting waxiness. Super Trooper. So this is, are we going to talk about age or kind of talk about those later?
No, we can kind of do it as we go.
Yeah.
Actually, I meant to turn this around. So we started with the Capradonic, the 25. And this one, if you guys don't already know or haven't done your research, that's a 16-year-old Craigellachie.
Which I just noted is 59.1% ABV. This is sipping like a 43 to me. Like it's so light.
Yeah, a lot of these expressions from the society, they drink quote-unquote smooth, I guess. I hate to use that word, but it's really, there's almost like sessionable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing's typically harsh.
No. Some of the younger peated ones I've tried, like the Highland peated ones, I've had an Ardmore or two that's really tingly, but I mean, I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a similar palate with the peated and the young, lively, bright whiskeys.
Those I tend to gravitate towards, as I've said numerous times in these tastings. Like 8 to like 11, 12 years is typically where I find myself.
Yes, yeah, same. And so far, you're always almost pretty much safe with any SMWS pick. I've spoken about this multiple times with friends, and it's just, there is some sort of, even though they're all different, there's an SMWS consistency to it. You know, you know what you're sort of going to be tasting.
Yeah, rarely
Quality.
a stinker. Yeah, I can think of a few, but it's over dozens of bottles. Like you're bound to get something you're not going to really gravitate towards. When
we did the spooky October, there was a few funky ones in that one. If you remember in 2020, I guess I remember because it was so funky. One we had described as like a pizza box, and somebody had said that with like cat stuff in it.
Cat
urine?
Oh,
yeah,
delicious.
It was very vegetal on the nose and odd.
And who was that?
I don't remember, but I haven't.
Jeez, I want to try that.
It was a very, very unique pour. But something you appreciate for what it was, and I thought it was Halloween appropriate.
Yeah, it's cool to find those really unique bottlings. You're just going to find some taste notes that you'll never ever see, or rarely see, I should say.
Ooh, I could see the water parting the oils in that.
So again, more sweet.
Yeah, softer.
A little earthy too now as well. Just a tiny bit.
I think that brightened the palate up for me.
It did. It's a little brighter now. Definitely more fruit. More like
Sweeter.
pudding has come through. It's a little bitter now for me as well.
Yeah,
a tiny bit.
I was wondering because it made the finish longer, and
Yeah.
I'm getting the bitter kind of notes just on the way out.
But not unpleasant.
Not unpleasant.
A good hot day whiskey, I think. So if it's 116,000 degrees on your deck,
Yes,
this is what you drink.
you need the Super Trooper.
Yes.
The Super Trooper needs to come in and help you out. But yeah, absolutely, a nice little summer sipper. Nice and bright and lovely. Clearly ex-bourbon barrel. Lots of the coconut, vanilla, sponge toffee notes. What was that sponge toffee called that was inside the crunch? It's just called sponge toffee, I think. Yeah, there's no name for it.
I wish they made a bar just of that.
Didn't they used to? It was like a square. They used to sell. It was like a bit classic, and it was just that.
If they did, I never
Oh, you
came
missed
across
out.
it. Yeah.
Okay, it's because I know all the candy.
Yes. Curses.
They had it. Have other people had that sponge toffee? There's just
Maybe I can find one on eBay. 16 years old.
Instacart. Yeah, again, tasting pretty young for a 16-year-old as well, and quite lively.
I've had a few Craig Ellickys in the past. Single barrels here that I've really, really enjoyed.
Do you favor them because of the name?
That is a good question, an obvious question, but no, I do not. They could be called Phil Ellicky, and I would still, or Tim Ellicky. Yes,
First one sounded like a sandwich.
Phil Ellicky.
Tim Ellicky. I'm going to save a bit of that because
Yeah.
I like to revisit as well. And so I guess we're up to moving on to another little special release here. So this is in the deep, rich, and dried fruit categories.
So probably some sherry.
So I'm guessing some Oloroso vibes.
And a recharred barrel.
Oh yes, this is the one that I was looking forward to. So maybe turn this one around here.
Yep.
Roasty, toasty, and tasty. I think that picture of it is interesting. Might give away some of the notes. A little interesting.
Yeah. So this one was bottled for the Highland Whiskey Festival last year,
Yes.
and it's, I guess, recently won some awards.
Yeah, the silver medal in the International Wine and Spirits Competition 2020?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll
Last
go with that. But it did win a silver medal.
Yep. So it's got some pedigree to it,
It does.
and this pedigree smells
Ooh,
amazing.
wow. Super sweet.
It is really sweet, like sweet and chocolatey,
Yeah.
musty.
Definitely a dark raisin, but
Right, like a bunch of dark fruit.
I'm trying to think of what where my nose is going into memory with this a dessert that. Oh yeah, definitely again getting more of the chocolate as I'm bringing it back to my nose.
So we've already got some comments. People have jumped ahead of us on this.
Oh, have they? Well,
Greg likes it. It's stellar. Brandon thinks it's delicious. So I guess I know what they're buying after we're done here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This smells like Grandma's old, like rum-soaked Christmas cake.
That's what it is. Rum-soaked Christmas cake. I had a coworker who was a doctor and made rum cake one year and said, eat with caution. And it was like 8 a.m. and left it in the lunchroom and it's this moist cake. And I was like, whatever,
open
right?
flame.
And I was excited because it was free breakfast. So I cut myself a huge piece. And then, 20, 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh, whoops. I think I'm a little buzzed at work right now.
Nap time?
It wasn't. It was more like, let's turn on, some beats and
Dance away.
pretend like you're working. No one does that.
Yeah, that smells amazing.
I could nose this one forever. I'm even getting something coastally too behind that raisin and chocolate.
Yeah, nothing coastal for me. I wish I was smelling that because I love coastal notes. Maybe when I add some water, I'll
I get
unlock
like
that.
a fresh water note, if that's a note. Well, I'm gonna go in.
Yep. I didn't have to swallow that to know it's amazing. Oh my God.
I was watching you the whole time because I'm like, am I having this reaction? Okay, I can see why you guys jumped ahead. You may want to come back to this.
It's almost like a ginger snap as well.
They have a gingerbread guy.
Do they?
Yeah, he's right in the corner. It looks like he's with cheese, but I don't think that's what that is.
No, that definitely looks like cheese. Like a wedge of some
Say
sort
anything
of.
about cheese?
If there's cheese in this, I get no cheese.
Yeah. Maybe it's the cream cheese frosting.
Maybe.
Yes.
So just some more sound issues we're seeing. Okay.
Yum. Okay, well, I mean, I don't have to. I could drink that. A lot of that. It's delicious.
Yeah, what's the ABV on that?
It's 59.6. A recharred hogshead.
So
Which, is there any. Yeah, I'm surprised because there's. I would expected more like a finish and sherry.
do you think it's the extra charring on the hogshead that they did?
I would
Or the
think
additional
so.
charring, I should say, that kind of gives
With the
those.
color?
Well, not so much the color, just that really like intense, like rum, raisin, ginger snap profile. I don't know.
I would guess, yes. It normally imparts sweeter flavors.
As I know, Cavalan does a lot of the, I guess, the recharring.
Yeah, so they do, the STR process.
Yeah.
Just in 2. The viscosity on this is beautiful. I love the coating of the palate and the tongue, and everything I taste is wonderful. And I'm still tasting the whiskey even after I've swallowed it. Still dancing like the gingerbread man.
No, the finish is long, complex. Like you could go to sleep and wake up, and it would still be dancing on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, it's pretty gorgeous.
No, amazing.
Yum.
So yeah, Mark's saying cinnamon and cloves. Cinnamon definitely.
Yeah.
Cloves, maybe not me.
I could see it a little. I do.
Maybe the cloves will dance across my tongue with some water. God, milk chocolate now too. I can't wait to see that in the glass after an hour. And how it tastes.
I don't even want to add water to it, but I'm going to.
I'm just curious,
Yeah.
simply for research.
This is all research. It's very serious what we do in the whiskey world. Changes the nose. Makes it, I get it's a little more drier and almost nutty.
Get the tobacco-ish notes. Not that I'm a huge tobacco aficionado, but I have smelt some loose tobacco in my time, and it kind of reminds me of that. It was like a cherry tobacco.
Delish.
So we're just getting some comments. Randy says restrictions are lifted. Let's get back to a live tasting. Yeah, let's do it. We'll do it for August, I think.
Definitely got more oaky notes with that water, which is like now a bit drying with that finish.
I think I like it more without the water,
Yes, me too.
personally. Yeah, more spice, more of that like cake flavor.
Delicious
Jeez,
stuff.
that's really good.
Cool.
All right. Moving along
Number
nicely, I guess.
4, traditional butterscotch fudge.
So this reminds me of whiskey number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be in that same kind of category.
So this would be sweet, fruity, and mellow. What was whiskey number 2 noted as? spicy and sweet.
Yeah, both subtle, both sweet, both cotton candy, vanilla.
Again, I'm getting, which has been kind of consistent with this line, is that tropical fruit and the pineapple. I didn't mean to peek at this note, but I did see papaya, and I would agree. I just had papaya the other day, and it's delicious.
I can't recall the last time I had papaya.
I know it's not
If
everyone's
ever.
forte, but my family would eat quite a bit of it for breakfast. So it was just kind of a staple item. I mean, this is in East Africa, not here so much because, of course, it's seasonal. But I was in BC having papaya.
Nice.
It's kind of like, it's a bit sweet, but there's almost a savory, meaty kind of thing going on with the fruit. It's quite fleshy.
Okay.
Quite unique.
Yeah, this is quite essentially a rehash of number 2 for me.
It's something I feel like I could probably put on my hands, go like this, and wear it as perfume.
I could be into that too,
right?
If I was into perfume.
You can be.
Try to splash it in my eyes, and I've made a huge mistake.
Some aftershave.
All right, let's taste this.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of butterscotchy.
I'm getting, I do get like kind of the vanilla and butterscotch, but I'm getting a bit of a vegetal note on the finish. Kind of takes it in a little different direction for me.
Yeah, it's almost like a root vegetable for me, like a
Like a taro root. I don't know, it just sounded good.
Yeah, like a turnip or a. But like, if someone bruleed a turnip or something.
Has anyone had
So
sugar?
weird.
Because I haven't. So we got some tropical fruit up front. We got some root vegetables at the bottom. Sounds like a healthy little whiskey.
Yeah, never really a dull moment with the SMWS. Sugar, hard candy, cotton candy, root vegetable.
Yeah. Are you getting a bit of saltiness to this? Maybe that's the...
No, not myself.
I do. Anyone else, or am I crazy? Don't answer that.
You might just be crazy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find the salt with some water. So this one we're tasting, it's Glen Murray. It's a 12-year-old, 57.4%.
Yeah, and I don't think we mentioned that this was a Blair Athol.
Yes, I did neglect to mention that.
Yes.
Just, I was too blown away by how good it was.
I know,
Yeah,
I don't even
forgot.
know what Blair Athols I've had.
I found there's been quite a few Blair Athols, Glen Murrays, Glen Elgin. Elgin?
Glen
Just this
Turret.
past couple months in the Society Outturn.
Yeah, I thought that there's quite a few of the Glens. I mean, we even have a former Glen.
Indeed. Yeah.
Thoughts on this one? With anyone in the group that favored it?
Yeah, quite group tonight. I mean, I know we've had some technical cues, but
Yeah, we're sorry about that.
please, feedback, good. We always love to engage.
Butterscotch fudge. It just reminds me of going to like one of those little candy shops and choosing out a specific butterscotch fudge, but it's not something I typically find.
I don't think I've ever gone to a candy shop, like a specific candy shop. They just sell candy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like anything in Banff or, yeah.
You know, I was a sheltered child.
Good for you.
Just root vegetables.
Root vegetables.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah. You played with turnips, and that's
I
what you got.
did.
You got sugar. Instead of sugar plums or sugar turnips.
Growing up behind the Iron Curtain, I played with turnips and
So you got used to that dank air. Good. I mean, I think you called it when you said this is a very similar taste profile to Super Trooper.
Yep.
which I don't know if we had mentioned. Oh, yeah, we did say it was a Craig Alecky. We spoke about that.
Yep.
And Glen Murray, that seems to be something that's been popping up in quite a few of the Outturns as well. I think we've had a few.
Yeah, I think we had the Desert Island Dream a few months back. I think that was a Glen Murray. Was that or a Glen Elgin? I can't recall exactly which one. But that was another one of those old and dignified black label, 25-year-old, like bring it to a desert island because that's your last kind of whiskey.
I think it was, yeah, Glen Murray, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It was like outstanding. Very, very good.
I was just going to say, because that was your bring it to a desert island, and wow.
You could just stare out a window for 19 hours and contemplate things
Yeah.
that were worth contemplating.
Yeah. Mine was the Flamingos and Smoking Pipe Tobacco, which was a Buna that we released, SMWS did early last year, right? At the beginning of the pandemic. And it was that one that was kind of like rhubarb in color. Ooh. It was so good. The best.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So now we're moving into more of our smoky peated range, I believe.
Right. So we'll get more towards the end. Typically, that's where we find our oily, coastal, peated, tractor shed style whiskeys.
Our favorite?
Definitely my favorite, and by the sounds of it, your favorite as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll try this guy.
So this is the Giving Spirit bottle.
It is, yeah. So every few months, the Society will dedicate certain portions of funds from the sales of these bottles to a charity. The one for April, I think it's sold out here. It is sold out here. I'm not sure at other stores. But that went to Canadian Cancer. So I think it was almost $1,300 or $1,400. That went to
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, Canadian Cancer Society. And this one, I should have read this previously.
Yeah, it's the National Indigenous Registered Charity that invests in the education of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people for the long-term benefits of these people, their families, communities in Canada.
Right. So if you want to enjoy some whiskey and give a little charity, number 16.43 is the one for you.
I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean, I think these are all, yeah, $130.
And this is
Does you good, does charity good. It's a win.
a 9-year-old. This is a Glen Turret.
So,
Oh my God.
I'm sure I've had Glen Turret. I can't ever remember having a peated Glen Turret. It just doesn't seem typical. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe just for me, I've not had a bunch. Have you?
I do recall one peated Glen Turret very vividly. It was called Acme Ghost Repellent. It was 8 years old, so young like this.
Yes.
And phenomenal.
Wow.
Like mind-blowingly good. I wish I still had some.
You get kind of like a bit of smoke and kind of motor oil nose.
Yeah, it is very motor oil. But maybe like cooking oil as well. So just in the comments, Greg's saying that Cozy Contentment was another one.
Oh, I remember that name. Okay, so I must have had it.
I don't think I tried that one for some reason. I can't recall why. But, the Ghost Repellent for sure. So
that's cool. 100% will go to charity. That's awesome. Sweet and motor oily.
yeah, that's my wheelhouse. So it's sweet, coastal, although it's not an island or an isla.
No.
I don't know if Glen Turret is on a highland coast, but there's some salinity to it. Mm-hmm. Like you've dug a trench in the field and filled it with like vanilla frosting. That's what I get. And then set fire to it.
Oh, and then did you use WD-40 after, like a little solvent?
Could be. There is some solvent-y notes, but definitely racquetball as well.
I'm getting also like matches. Not necessarily sulfur, but something about the strike. A little bitterness.
Any barnyard funk? We got some funk in the comments.
Yeah, I do get a funk actually. For sure, now that that's been stated. walk into where the pigs reside and then move over to where they're being cooked.
But the pigs are eating Skittles.
They're
not stinky pigs.
They're tasting the rainbow.
Right.
Yes.
They're not gross. Like,
They're not.
These are cultured pigs.
Yeah, exactly.
They read Edgar Allan Poe and
Edgar Allan Poe and eat Skittles. And that's what makes this sweet, fleshy pig roasted flavor.
I want this pig in my life.
And I don't typically eat pig, but maybe I can drink it. For the idea of it.
For this pig, I would make an exception. This cultured Poe pig.
And then that just reminds me of how it's produced or cooked in Hawaii. Like I think there'd be a lot of like pineapple and
Yep.
open
I have
fire.
been to a pig roast in Hawaii.
Oh.
And I do recall it was wrapped in leaves and there were various tree fruits accompanying it.
Do you remember the type of tree fruits?
No.
I was like, wow, that's so broad.
I had many beers. Maybe they weren't tree fruit. Maybe it was just.
Maybe it was just.
Maybe it was just.
part of the. Maybe there's all.
Yeah.
What was in the pig's mouth?
That could have been anything. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll just move on. Hawaii was fun.
Who knows? It was fun.
It was lit.
Could have been a hand or something in the pig's mouth. I don't know.
I like this because I like the name. I mean, it's oddly satisfying. I'm not really sure what to make of it. I taste all of these separate flavors in this one bottle.
Yeah, it is pretty disparate. Like there's this, there's this, there's this. It's not necessarily harmonious, but it's still good because it's all kind of pinging out the inside of your head. Yeah.
Your stuffed pig head.
We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're moving on. Correct. It's quite sweet, too.
It did get more sweet, less tractor funk, less cultured pig, but maybe like some cereal grains too. After water.
Yeah, I actually got some. I thought about cereal when I had the roasty, toasty, tasty. It was
Yeah.
this classic strawberry shortcake cereal I used to eat. I'm dating myself with this, but it did pop into my mind. I'm going to add water, which I normally don't do either, with my peated whiskeys. I just don't.
You just have to know and just see.
Again, for experimental purposes.
So Randy says coal fire. I've never smelt a coal fire before.
Does it count when it's on your barbecue? Or is that just like...
That's like a briquette. I don't know. Maybe that's coal adjacent. I'm not a coal expert.
adjacent. I get something kind of like, I don't know, a little creamy, like almost like a buttermilk. There's a, I don't want to say sour note, but kind of a creamy, soury. No, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Creamy and sour.
Creamy sour, yeah. That's
sour cream?
spilt or spoiled milk.
Yeah. But yeah, more just like a...
By creamy, do you mean the texture,
Buttermilk.
or is it...
On the nose. I don't know if you've ever opened a thing of buttermilk, if you drink buttermilk, that is. It's a bit
I
of a...
don't believe I do.
Yeah.
Well, they say fat is flavor. But I've never tested that with buttermilk.
Who are they?
Pigs? I don't know.
The cultured pigs.
I don't know.
The cultured pigs. It's like the little shirts that they wear, and it says they say fat is flavor.
I think I heard Chef
seen it.
Ramsay say it once when he was calling someone an idiot sandwich.
Yeah. Well then,
This is very good.
I don't find a huge difference with the water.
I find it less funky and less barnyardy, I
Yeah.
guess. And it's more... So before it's disparate, it's lots of stuff, and now it's just sweet. So I think just because I like a little more diversity in the whiskey in terms of flavors, I would probably keep the water away from this one.
Slight herbaceous notes.
And it's
floral.
62%, so it's up there. But again, it's not super zingy.
It's 62.4. Yeah.
Yes.
267 bottles. Let's see if there's stuff that I didn't get. I didn't get a tomato sauce spiced with Tabasco.
This is all malarkey. Like
I don't get any tomato.
they just chuck a word generator at this thing and tasting notes come out. Like
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sure.
our pigs and their jam. Nice.
Oh, I'll come back to that one.
Me too. Well, has anyone got into the last dram of the night, Sweet Filth? I'm excited for this region. I'm a huge Springbank fan, so Campbelltown, love. However, this isn't a Springbank.
No, it is not. This is a younger Glen Scotia.
Yum.
So this is an 8-year-old, 59.9%. First fill ex-bourbon. So sweet and funky, maybe? Did you have any of the whiskeys from the previous Outturn? Back in June?
I did.
Did you have a Glen Scotia?
I did. Yeah. There was one that was that the last tasting? It was very, 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 very floral. Is that the one? I remember the last Glen Scotia. Maybe.
The last Glen Scotia
I'm mixing it up.
It was a peated one, and it was called Robo Cow or something like that.
Oh, was that from last?
Yes.
I must have missed it then. We've had a RoboCow before, I thought. I've had it.
No,
I've had it
Apocalypse something.
Yeah,
it wasn't
like,
RoboCow. It was Apocalypse Cow.
I've had RoboCow, and that's amazing.
Apocalypse Cow.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But that was delicious. But that was peated, whereas this one doesn't appear to be.
This one here is not peated?
No. At least it doesn't smell peated.
I got a little smoke, but
I don't know, a bit subdued on the nose. I smell licorice, like a red licorice. I was kind of hoping for more filth.
I'm not getting much filth. I thought I could be the crossover between my last dram, but
Yeah, we could just be nose blind.
Are you getting coastal? Because I am.
A little bit. But if someone didn't indicate it was coastal, I don't think I could pick it out.
I think I would have maybe, because when I went around initially, I did get that. And there was, I'm trying to remember now too, because I'm pretty sure I did have a Glen Scotia that has this similar, and it reminded me of like a library, an old lady who worked in a library wearing this like geranium kind of perfume. I'm pretty sure I've walked by her a couple times. But
Probably my grandma.
like, Grandma?
Yes.
Does this
She
smell
likes
like
her
you?
geraniums.
I definitely like the mouthfeel. It's nice and thick. For a young whiskey. Interesting finish.
It is more filthy on the mouth, or in the mouth. Like it's earthy, floral. I could say dirty. If someone told me it tasted dirty, I would say that.
Because the florals aren't coming through, you can smell them, but they're just like coated in other stuff.
They're just covered in earth.
It's dirty florals. Covered in earth.
Greg says a bit swampy. Yeah.
Interesting finish. I kind of had this fruity watermelon note the last time I'd sipped it, and now it's converted.
A fruity what, sorry?
It was almost like, I know this is out of left field, but it was almost like a bit of watermelon to me. Not the sweetness, but kind of that.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping for more filth.
We typically end with more filth.
Yeah. It's muted filth.
Well,
it is sweet, but I wouldn't.
I'm actually going to look into what was stated about this. So we've got seaweed and kippers. For me, I got a bit of the seaweed. The smoked almonds, I would agree with, because to me there was a slight smoke, but it wasn't like peated. Filthy maritime manner. Anchovy butter.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Burning coconuts. Wafts of smoke from burning. I don't know if I've smelled a burning coconut.
I smelled briquettes made from coconut.
And then we've got freshly baked multigrain bread as nut oils, salted cashews. I am getting a saltiness. Sweet flavors of a digestive biscuit. See, this is where the grandma comes in hard.
I love digestive biscuits.
Me too. They're
like
so
a lot.
good. They're so good.
Like the McVitie's. I go home and put on my spectacles and just drink tea and eat biscuits.
Maybe you can bring them here for the next Outturn.
I can do that.
Yeah, because
everyone.
now Hopefully there'll be some like little snackage paired. I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what else we got on here? Cold coffee, dark chocolate into cold coffee. Maybe at the bitterness, peat with thyme. Peat with thyme. You got any peat yet?
I think I need more time with the peat to materialize. Dark chocolate I definitely get. But
maybe when we revisit the first 2 or 3, if we do that later, then we should get into that sweet filth. Maybe the oddly satisfying muted it. Okay, so they got salty seaweed, brine aromas. Indeed, brine. Rock pools and barnacles on muddy, welly boots. Wouldn't it take a while to form a barnacle? Or is this like a loose barnacle now, just attaching to your shoe or your boot?
maybe it's just a loose floating
Is it
barnacle.
a wild barnacle?
Rogue barnacle.
And then barbecued banana skins. I've not tried that. These are like, let's not try these at home tasting notes, I think. Then arrived at salted vanilla ice cream, crushed Brazil nuts well on finish. Toasted cereals, herbal tea.
How drunk are these people sitting around tasting these?
I don't know.
And just throwing out verbs and adjectives to describe.
I do find when I explore a whiskey, I do write notes about it, and then, yeah, more of the tasting notes come out as with the more time that I spend with the whiskey now, whether that's the whiskey talking or my palate just opening up a little more.
Does it ever materialize into this?
I have not gotten to the loose barnacles attaching to my boot yet.
Maybe one day.
Maybe.
Whiskey black belt.
Yeah. These wild barnacles. So I think if you like a little salinity, a little coastal, maybe a touch, slight smoke, nothing too much, this might be your dram. Get something a little coastal that's not going to overwhelm you with peat, but I like the punch in the face.
Oh, I like this one a lot, actually. It's good. I wish it was a little more, quote-unquote, Campbelltowny, like a little more funky, but it's still pretty good. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Nice.
Well, we've done the circle, so I guess that means another quick revisit and just see what's materialized or what has evolved.
Agreed. I don't know if anyone has a favorite so far. I know I do.
Yeah, I know exactly what I will pick as a favorite.
Yes.
I do have a top 3, actually. But maybe after we have another sip, we
Sure.
can discuss that.
So I'm very excited to revisit this bottle here.
Yeah, me too.
This is special.
So now it smells like some kind of popsicle or Fruity Pebbles, like some sugary
Oh, it's
treat.
super sugary. Like right when you open that Fruity Pebbles
It's like
box.
some whipped my tongue with fruit by the foot. Or nose, I guess, because I don't smell with my tongue.
So much more vanilla.
It's very sugary.
Super sugary. Like yes. Like a baked good with lots of vanilla icing. Very cupcakey, like.
Still sweet on the palate. I'm getting some pears now as well, like a soft, fleshy pear. And this is with 2 drops of water. So I think I would... The finish is a bit shorter with the water, for me. So I think I would probably, again, kibosh the water. Yeah.
Well, it kind of has an old library note that I get for a bit, and then the finish, like you said, kind of ends quickly. But I was kind of getting into this tasting note that would tell me that it's a bit older. And
Like library on the palate, or it just smells kind of library adjacent?
it was on the finish at first, before it kind of just quickly. It felt like it was going to go into a long finish, and then just kind of came to the top of my tongue and finished a little quickly.
What does a library taste like?
It tastes like the smell of older books to me. There's a slight mustiness. I think musty would be a strong word, but it just reminds me of aged I guess, library books. You know, go to the public library. Back in the day, you'd open that book.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I really want to get that, but I can't. Darn. I think that's really cool. Maybe after a bit more time in the glass, who knows?
Yeah, or less water.
Or less water. Yeah.
I'll have to come back to that.
Maybe cardboard? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Cardboard. Books. That thick paper that was never white. You can hear yourself flip to the next page.
It's like
You know, reading that classic Edgar Allan Poe book.
a giant parchment.
Yes.
It's almost something you unroll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's what it is.
So this one, the Super Trooper, is also sweeter on the nose. And I smell animal crackers. Like a Teddy Graham or something.
And I smell custard, like a custard-filled donut of some type. Lots of yeast and dough, but that's sweet. Dare I say Boston cream? What are the peeps saying?
Nothing. Nothing.
They're just like,
They're
"We
probably
can't
enjoying their
have
whiskey. That's fine.
outside, pairing it with
I
their
get it.
cold beer.
Ooh, that's what I'm having tonight.
Yeah. I gotta go into your cooler after, do a little walk around.
There's lots there. Hundreds. Yeah, so still very much the same. Just the nose has changed a bit for me on this to that kind of Teddy Graham sweet animal cracker note. But
And
it's
then
still,
is it lighter on the palate for you?
I wouldn't say lighter than before, but it's still that, I just think, like sessionable summer whiskey. Like you're sitting under an umbrella and this is what someone pours you. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very pleasant.
This I'm very excited to revisit because I'm going to just say it now. I think this is my favorite of the Outturn.
Yeah, mine too.
It's spectacular.
Yeah. I
Oh wow. I love
wouldn't
so
even
much
say
about
it's
it.
close. Like I've got 3 I really like,
Yeah.
but this is
well,
kind of
the
in like its
nose
own
is
tier.
just it's exactly in its own tier.
Yeah, still, like, I would say more dark fruit. Like toffee and dark fruit.
I'm trying to figure out the name of this dark nut with the shell. I'm getting, I'd say hazelnut, but maybe.
I can see the hazelnut. It's like a Ferrero Rocher almost.
With raisin. Delicious.
That
If you're
is
watching this and you haven't tried the Outturn, I think you're pretty safe
truly exceptional.
with this one.
That is good. Yeah, usually I'm over here, but the needle has swung counterclockwise and is pointing
Same.
at this is delicious.
Yeah, and just
That is
it's
really
still
good.
going on the palate.
Yeah.
It's all over, like you said, it's pinging all over the mouth.
And it's young, like it's 10 years old. Not that that really, I guess, in the scope of things means a whole lot,
No,
but I mean, me anyway, I don't really find that like really high level of complexity in this whiskey that I find in other younger ones. They're usually a little more like 1 or 2 notes, but this is just dessert, booze, dark fruit, nuts, chocolate.
rum cake.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say Christmas, but it's got that rum-ness to it. It's not, I wouldn't pair it with that. Yum.
Yeah, I'll finish that off camera. Just before I get into my car.
Yeah. No.
This one's still the same, the butterscotch fudge. It's much like its cousin, Super Trooper.
It really is a little less. Yeah. I mean, good. Again, like you'd said, summer session. These would be fun to pair with different beers in your cooler to see what that would bring out in each of those.
We could do that one night.
I think that would be really fun
Like a beer whiskey pairing.
because, like, it's still warm in August, right? You're doing it in person.
Yep.
Maybe something to consider. I've done one here with the Alberta Scotch Society, and I've done one with Jura interestingly enough, at the Banff Whiskey Festival, and my friend Jerome, who was their brand ambassador, he actually picked up a bunch of beers from Alberta and paired them with the Jura whiskey.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was unique. Again, getting that perfumey note.
It's good. It's really good.
I wonder if we should go sweet filth and then oddly satisfying to see if you can catch any more of the...
I was going to say, let's reverse these two.
Yeah.
And see what might happen. Save the peated one for last.
Yeah, because see, even right on the nose now, I get a lot of brine. Like
It's way
brine.
more coastal now, to me. I almost get like some faint bacon notes as well.
The pigs are back. Maybe that's the sweet
Pigs.
filth. They're sweet and filthy. They walked over from Hawaii. Ones that escaped.
They walked over. Got on a boat.
Got on a boat, yeah, exactly. Those dirty pigs. Yep, changes it for me.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, for me, and maybe for you by the sounds of it, these two should have been flopped around.
Agreed.
Yeah, the Glen Scotia should have been first. Because it just, I get more out of the palate now. More coastal. I definitely get the
lingering.
smoke, whereas I didn't before.
It's there. Briny and slightly smoky.
Yep. Still nice and sweet though. The water toned down the body too much for me. It's a bit thin.
Yeah, I don't know if I get sardines, sage sausages. Maybe the sage tomato sauce spiced with Tabasco. I would think of that as pasta. We've thrown a bit of Tabasco on, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, no, that's preposterous. I don't get any tomato or pasta or sausage or anything like that. I'm just convinced I'm being lied to.
Maybe it's a type of sausage you haven't had before.
I can kind of see the banana skin. I don't know if I'd call it barbecued, but there's some banana, there's something floating around this banana.
Like plantain green banana or yellow banana?
No, like a more ripe banana.
I'm overwhelmed by the tomato to get the banana.
I don't think you're telling the truth. Nice.
I like it more on my second go at it.
Yep. So just going back to the peated one, I smell some barbecue meat.
This is totally barbecued meats. Or almost like somebody was cooking barbecued meats and then used water to extinguish it. I'm
Cool.
getting that sort of walk by.
Yeah, like a damp fire kind of note.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, who knows what else you're burning in your fire? I find this one a little more filthy than the last.
Yeah, that should have been the last one.
I agree, and I'm liking it even more.
Yeah, there's some toasted, something toasted like a biscuit or a nut that I'm getting now. Even like a toasted digestive.
Are you getting a smoky rusty nail?
No.
Okay.
No, smoky, yes. Rusty nail,
Well, they speak about shoreline, shipwreck, barbecuing honey mustard.
do they mean like a rusty, like a nail that you pound into something, or a rusty nail, the cocktail?
Oh, smoky rusty nail cocktail. That's different.
Okay.
Interesting. I would never think about mustard, but
I love mustard, and I get zero mustard.
I kind of...
Well, no.
Yeah.
No, there's
That, what's the granular mustard that I really
like a
love?
stone ground or like
Yeah.
a... What's it called? I can't recall.
I can't recall either. Anyone mustard experts? I have it at home. It's my favorite, and I can't remember the name.
It's like a... I don't know if it's so much mustard as like a vinegar kind of note.
Which I would agree with. It just kind of, when you pop open the cap and smell mustard like I do.
Oh, I do. Like I said, I love mustard.
Delicious. Well, this one's grown on me more. And of course, it's the Giving Spirit bottle at $130. I think you're pretty safe with that.
Yep.
Solid bottle, great tasting notes, 62.4%. So you can add water to it. and all of the money is being donated, which is super
Like 100%,
cool.
and it's not
Yeah,
just
all of it.
It's not a portion; it's all of it. So that's. And how many bottles? 267.
267.
Cool.
Beauty. Well, if I had to choose, my number one is Roasty Toasty Tasty. It's
Yes.
given me all those vibes,
Yeah.
and I did really appreciate having the abundance of Hidden Delights, just knowing what it was, and it's definitely a beautiful whiskey with a lot of layers and some complexity to it, and just knowing where it's from is super special. And then for my second, I'd go with the oddly satisfying Glentoran.
So I'm fairly similar. I think I would definitely do the Roasty Toasty first, Glentoran 2, and then I think the Capardonic for me would be number 3. Yeah. Just it's quite the treat
It is quite the
to have
treat.
something rare and old.
And I'm visiting it again, and I'm getting
Yeah, it's just I don't think I've ever had a whiskey that's kind of like this breakfast cereal sugary confection forward.
I have, and it's, again, I'm going to say Klein Leash. I have it's called Juicy something. I can't remember. That was definitely breakfast cereal to me. Juicy Delight? Yes. It was a 7-year-old, and I've got it. I love it so much. I wish I bought another bottle.
We might. No, I don't think we have any left. How long ago was that one released?
Last year?
Yeah, it's probably gone by now.
Yes.
Maybe we have the heel upstairs. Who knows?
The upstairs that I haven't been to yet. There's heels there. I did take an Uber here.
It's like Narnia upstairs. You just open this closet,
Narnia.
and there's just this wonderment that opens up in front of you. Stepping through the wardrobe into whiskey
Into
Narnia.
the sweet pill.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up the whiskey tasting portion of
Solid
our evening.
Outturn.
Yeah, it was really,
Really good.
Super cool with a Capardonic, something that's extinct.
Yeah.
And that young 10-year-old that was a treat. Like I didn't expect. Well, what more can I say? I think I said it already. It's pretty amazing.
Very good.
Yes.
Lots of flavor.
Just some quick housekeeping notes. So restrictions have been lifted. Moving forward, I think into August, we're going to try an in-person tasting for the society. We'll do an evening. We'll start with one evening because previously we did 2 evenings. We'll see how it goes. We'll gauge people's reactions. We're still seeing lots of folks with masks, and we'll kind of see what happens, what materializes. And we'll send out a newsletter with all the details. If folks are still uncomfortable with coming here in person, we'll definitely provide tasting kits, as we have been since January, February. And yeah, I think that might be it. Like I said, we'll send out a newsletter, all the details, and we'll keep folks filled in.
That would be super fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing some familiar faces and all the rhetoric that we have during, and just the funny, terrible, awesome jokes.
Yeah.
But there was always a Thursday crew and a Friday crew, so it'd just be interesting to see who's going to turn out how. But I guess you guys start with one day, and
Yeah,
I'm going to count myself here.
I'll suspect it'll be well received. So into September, as long as things go well, we'll add a second night.
And Craig's going to contact me to talk about candy pairings in case we're going with candy, because
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Whiskey and candy, I would.
we've done whiskey and candy
Okay.
here.
I've lost to learn still, apparently. I'll be.
Cheese and meats, we like those too.
Yeah, I'll be the guy at the head of the table, trying my best not to bungle things up with the tasting. So, bear with me. We'll appreciate your patience.
You always do amazing.
Well,
Better than you think.
I appreciate the kind words.
That's not just the whiskey.
Okay, well, that's even better. Anything else?
No, thank you so much for having me as your co-host. I really, really enjoyed this. This is awesome because this is kind of like a bit of an in-person tasting for me. But yeah, looking forward to seeing faces and trying out the Outturns as per usual.
Great. Well, thank you for making us look good here with your finely tuned palate.
My pleasure.
It's like a Japanese knife, sharp as always.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you next month. Whiskeys are on the site now, so if you're looking to make a purchase, go ahead and we'll fill orders tomorrow. You can pick up starting tomorrow.
Cheers.
Good night, guys. Thank you.